Hello and welcome back to Tactical Tuesday with Johnny Tiger on September 26, 2023. So today we are back at doing another tabletop knife review. I don't even know if I can call this a review because I am not perfectly confident in my review ability, but it's a close look. My opinion. Well, I want to talk about tools of my trade, the things that I work with and use, and hopefully it will help some of you pick uh, knives and training tools, self-defense tools of your liking. And this one here is the Boker Plus CLB karambit. That's quite a mouthful. Boker Plus CLB karambit. Now, before we get any further, let me quickly say this one is my EDC. One of them, anyway. I have more than one, and this one has been my EDC as part of my uh, pack, my day pack, for at least 4 years now, maybe longer, maybe 5 or 6 years. It's been a while. And it's one of those things where I will say, well, yeah, obviously, if it's my EDC, obviously I like it, but obviously it's not my favorite. Now, what's the logic in that? Well, as I spoke about this before, you don't really want your favorite knife to be your EDC because one of the things that is going to happen. And if you carry knives with you uh, long enough, you know this. Uh, one of the things that's going to happen is your knives always go missing. You either drop it or you lend it to somebody and never get it back, or they get ditched after you do something nefarious with them. Uh, yeah, don't do that. But anyway, so EDC, everyday carry, is something that you have to consider very carefully. You do not want it to be the most expensive knife in your collection, and you do not want it to be one of your favorite knives. You need it to be something that you like enough, trust enough to have with you every day, but at the same time, something that you don't mind a lot if you lose it. Right? So, yes, I do love this little knife, but it is not the best. It is not one of my favorite. With that said, it is a good knife because it has to be for me to consider it my EDC for so many years. So today we'll take a close look at it. Um, First and foremost, it is the Boker Plus line, which is basically the Boker budget line. I reviewed the Boker Magnum Pocket Cutlery before, and I talked about Boker. Boker itself is a really high-end brand as far as knives go. They have some really good stuff, but they also have a couple of budget lines where you can get Boker knife under cheap. And these are usually knives made in China, made in Taiwan, made in yeah, one of those places, and they're okay, but they tend to be a little bit wonky and not of the premium materials. But that's okay because no, cheap budget knife is one of the prerequisites that I put out for EDC. So this is a Poker Plus CLB. What does CLB stand for? CLB is actually the abbreviation of the name of the knife maker that designed this. This knife was designed by Chad Laspano. Now, I don't I don't know if when I say that name, Chad Laspano, I don't know if you get there's a collective gasp of recognition. Maybe you guys recognize the name. Honestly, I myself don't recognize the name. Uh, so yeah, I'm not really up to date on all the super cool knife gurus, knife makers, and it seems like every year there's thousands of them. Every year there's thousands new ones, and you get a knife, you're going to say this was designed by Roy Thompson, and the ultra survivalist. Yeah, I just made that one up, but you know what I mean. So when I buy a knife, the maker of the knife really usually don't fall into my consideration. But anyway, this is the Chad Lespano designed knife, CLB, karambit. Is it a karambit? Well, it kind of looks like one. Um, that when the knife is folded, this is a folding knife. It is about 5.25 inches long. It has a fingering that we'll come back and talk about later, because this is more than just a fingering. The handle material is G10, so it's nice and sturdy. Has a pocket clip on it for uh, carrying, and I think that you can actually reverse this pocket clip. There are screw holes on the other end. However, I did try to change the pocket clip onto the opposite side. And it's not that it can't be done. I think it can, but I had a heck of a time trying to get the pocket clip to come off. Like, honestly, I even got one of my car mechanic friends to try to remove this pocket clip. Now, this might be just this one. Okay, maybe just the one I got was damaged or mishandled somehow. That these screws, there's a one, two, three screws on the pocket clip. We were able to get one of them off, but the other two wouldn't budge no matter what. Uh, like I said, I got one, my friend's a car mechanic, and if a car mechanic can't even remove this crap, it's not coming off. He basically told me, well, if you want me to remove it, I can. I have to take it to the shop, but I can't guarantee if you're going to have any screw left after that. It just, there's no guarantee. It might damage the screw. So I said, okay, no effort. I'll just carry it as is. But if you're lucky and you get this, and the screws actually come off, the holes on the opposite side, holes on the flip side, flips on. So there's one, two, three, four angles that you can change this clip on. So yeah, it's very versatile. I love that. It's too bad that mine doesn't work, right? But I I'm willing to think that that's just me. That maybe just the model or the knife I got was damaged somehow. The Let's talk about the fingering for the karambit. Okay, most karambit, when you have a fingering, that's all it is. It is just a fingering. Now this one, interestingly enough, is actually a carabiner. What is a carabiner? It's one of these spring-loaded clip. Okay, so there's a little notch here that you can clip onto your belt, or you can use it to clip onto rope or whatever. If you want to turn this into a flail or whatever, I don't think that's what that's for, but uh, it is really nice to have this. You can clip this onto your keychain. You can clip this onto your your backpack or day pack very easily. This is one of the reasons why this is my EDC for so long. I just love it that they incorporated this carabiner into the fingering of the karambit. It's really nice. The knife has dual thumb stud, so it's ambidextrous. You can open it left hand, right hand. But unfortunately, you can only open it like a regular pocket knife. It doesn't have the any kind of mechanism to allow you to hold it like a karambit and then still open it. I mean, yeah, you can if you get your other hand involved like that. But yeah, that just not doesn't look very good. Um, I mean, if you are fighting or defending yourself, that doesn't really matter. But yeah, uh, so you can open this one-handed, but you have to open it like a regular pocket knife, right? We'll talk about that in a second, but yeah, you can put your thumb on some stud and open it like that. There we go. Okay, so the most obvious thing that you guys have already seen on this video is it's glitchy. Okay, the blade is glitchy. Um, when you and I think this might be because my blade is missing a screw here, where it joined the handle. There was supposed to be a screw in the front of the handle, but like the third day I carried this around, I came home and I realized, hey, so there's a screw hole on my knife, and the screw is gone, it's missing. So ever since then, it doesn't really work properly. It's kind of glitchy. It still work. It's just kind of glitchy. Um, so again, budget line poker knife, problematic. Screws falling out when you don't pay attention, and screws that are supposed to come out refuse to come out. Yeah, it's just a really screwy knife, right? And so yeah, missing that screw means the blade alignment is a bit wonky. So when you open this, or when I open this, sometimes it doesn't want to lock. And without me open it with force. Like if I do the cool thing like people do, snap my wrist like that, then it will lock in every time. But if I do it nice and civilized, like use the thumb stud and carefully open it like that, see, it doesn't want to lock. I have to wiggle the blade back and forth a little bit for it to click in. So glitchy. And then when you or when I try to fold the blade in, see, it doesn't want to align properly, so a lot of time it won't go all the way in. You have to again jimmy it back and forth for it to click all the way in. Okay, so again, I think that's just this one because it's missing that screw that holds the blade on securely. So I think I'm willing to think that that is a problem. Maybe if you get one, maybe if you get one, it wouldn't do this. But I want to bring that to your attention. It's glitchy, it opens weird, it closes weird. Now, the blade itself is about just over 2.2 inches long, just around that. And it's this really interesting shape. Okay, that's one of the good points for this knife. It does have a frame lock, so there's this piece of metal on the bottom of the grip that you push to the side and then you fold the knife up. And luckily, this one actually have a small finger guard. So if you fold this knife and your finger is still in the way, you won't cut the crap out of yourself, right? So that's good. It has a finger guard. Um, the blade material is 440C stainless steel, so pretty decent for pocket knife, and it's a titanium coated. This is a black and silver knife, G10 handle, titanium coated, 440C blade, 2.2 inches blade with a 5.25-inch handle. The entire knife come out to just around 7.8 inches long, so it is a big boy for pocket knife, even though the blade itself is kind of small. Right? Um, One thing I like about this is the blade is not so big that it's threatening, and it functions fun as a EDC utility knife. There's some jimping or serration on the back of the handle for you to rest your thumb on, or for you to use for your grip to reinforce your grip. And there's also On the back of the blade, the jimping kind of continues. There's more serration here. Back of the blade for you to grip forward, do a forward grip, have your thumb on the spine of the knife. You can either do that or you can do it have your thumb back towards the middle of the handle to give yourself that extra reach. You can even grip it really back, so have your hand encapsulate the ring part of this knife, and this kind of turn into a pistol grip situation. So as far as options go, this is a really versatile knife. You can do the for fine work, you can do the forward grip with your thumb on the spine. For usual, like normal everyday work, you can grip it just like just like this, with your hands around the mid section of the knife and the thumb resting on the back of the handle. And for any kind of extended work or fighting or self-defense, then you can slide it forward and have your hand around the ring, and this gives you a lot of extra reach. Or if you're like me, you'll probably turn it around and do a very easy switch into uh, a karambit commando grip with your finger, go naturally into the fingering. So grip option, fantastic for this knife. Shape-wise, it is interesting when this is fully deployed. Doesn't that just look like a batarang? Like one of those things that Batman likes to throw at people? To me, it does. It kind of have that bat symbol look to it, so that's pretty cool. And if we look at this blade shape, this is a very interesting blade shape. Uh, it's not quite a karambit because karambit, as most of us know, karambit have that hooked hawkbill shape. And this kind of does, close to the handle, around here, close to the handle. But then it's go forward and turn into this tanto style blade. So you are getting a combo edge, sort of. You get a forward tanto blade, and behind that you have a curved karambit style um, curvature. So this is a very interesting blade to work with. Take a while to get used to, but once you get used to it, this is a cool knife to have in your arsenal because it is so versatile. Now, assuming the screws work the way they should, then that would be cool. I can't remember how much I paid for this knife. I think it was pretty cheap, like $18 US or something like that. So it's I went into this knowing that it can have problems, and it does. Uh, the screws refuse to work properly, and now the blade alignment is a bit wonky. It doesn't want to lock open or go close properly unless you wiggle the blade a little bit. But other than that, I carry this, like I said, 4 or 5 years, and it's still in one piece, and it has done everything I asked of it. So that's pretty decent. Now we're going to do some quick cutting test, and today I'm actually I actually need to cut up a cardboard box for a craft project. So we're going to use this knife to butcher a cardboard box and cut it into the shape I need. So it's going to be a little bit of a longer cutting session, but you guys can see how this knife actually performs. Okay, so what we need to do, I got this cardboard box here. We don't have a lot of room to work with, so I hope this shows okay. So what I essentially need to do is I need to cut the front end of this box. I need to get rid of the front end of this box, so it's a little bit shorter. Right? That is a simple task. But as we know, cutting cardboard with a pocket knife can be a bit of a task sometimes. So let's see how this works. So first, we're going to take this knife and we're going to go from the front corner because I want to cut off the front flap first. Beautiful, beautiful cut. This thing cuts really, really well because of the curvature. This recurved karambit edge with this tanto front really gives that slicing force you need. Almost like it's actually a lot like using what you might call it a kukri. It has that same kind of easy force to it. Okay, so now always fold up your knife when you're ready to switch what you're doing. So as you can see, I have the front flap cut off here, like here. Um, it's kind of still attached a little bit by that piece of tape. So I hate using my knife on tape, but sometimes that's the fate of a EDC. You have to be able to do that. You have to cut tapes. So when you are the EDC, you cut whatever I need you to cut. That's what happens, right? So now we have the front flap completely off like that, right? That's good. We are almost done. I'm going to put that to one side because I have use of that later. Now, what I want to do next is I want to trim the front end of the box a little bit. Like I want to take about an inch or two off the front, so it will be a lot shorter. So let's deploy the knife. Ugh, I hate the tape residue on my knife. This is why I hate using pocket knife for this kind of stuff because you always end up with this yucky, gunky residue from the tape. Just a quick cutting etiquette for those of you who might be new to working with a knife and still not very comfortable. Rather than continue to saw back and forth, it's much better to do one continuous stroke, pull it out, continuous stroke, pull it out, and then in, pull it out, and in. This is much more controlled, and you will the chance of you hurting yourself or breaking something will be a lot less uh, prone to happening. Right? Okay, now we have that piece off like that. So we'll rip that off. Always remember knife safety. Close the knife when you're not using it. I know it is tedious, but it is going to be that one time that you leave the knife open on the counter, that you brush it off the counter and it land on your foot point first. So we want to prevent that kind of thing from happening. Now, okay, so we got that side. Now let's do this side. Again, this ugly, ugly tape residue. Again, free the knife, stroke, free the knife, stroke, free the knife, stroke, free the knife, stroke. See how long a cut you can do with this rather than sawing it back and forth. Free the knife. Yeah, sometimes that happens. Stroke and stroke. Now, I know for you sighted folks, uh, you're not comfortable guiding your cut with your finger. That's fine. You know, keep your finger away from the knife. For me, because I can't see what I'm doing, this is basically the only way to get this done, right? Yep, I totally forgot to fold the knife there. Bad boy. Huh? Okay, now we only have this one last piece to do, and this is a little bit squishy, so we gotta be very careful here. So make our incision here. There we go. Extract, cut, extract, cut, extract, cut, extract, cut. Yeah, there we go. Extract, cut, extract, cut. And there we go. Easy peasy. Now we fold the knife back so it's safe. And look, I mean, it's not the most even work, yeah, but it's not bad at all. This is definitely what I needed. This is exactly what I wanted to do. So, now let's see how our knife is looking. Yeah, a little grimy. We'll have to clean the blade a little bit later with some oil and stuff like that because you don't want to leave all that um, tape gunk on your blade. It will just jam up your knife after a while. But yeah, this performed really good for a knife this small, a blade this small, and this weirdly shaped. It is great for doing that kind of cutting, and it didn't fatigue my hand at all. Uh, this kind of the weird Batman tool, bat symbol shape actually fit really comfortable in the hand, so you can work with this and without getting a lot of hand fatigue. So now, before the end of the video, we have to answer the three questions, of course. Is this a good utility EDC knife? Well, I think the answer for that is obvious. I carried this for 5 years, the last 5 years, 6 years, and still going to carry it for a while yet. So obviously, I believe so. And as you guys saw, doing that little bit of a utility work, perfect, no problem with this knife. Uh, Despite of it being a karambit, actually I hate carrying karambit for EDC because karambit shaped blade have it's really hard to cut stuff with it when you need to do like box cutting, packagings and stuff like that. They always make a massive mess on whatever you have to cut. But that's partly what the karambit designed to do. But this knife, on the other hand, it has that karambit feel, but it has the straight tanto style blade, which really allow you to have a lot of control in your cutting, which is good. Um, Actually, now that I'm kind of holding it and posing with it, that this blade you can't even. I mean, if you look at it like from the this angle, like diagonal angle, then it's a tanto. But if you hold it just like regular knife, it's almost like I would say it's a karambit, but has a drop point blade in the front. So yeah, it is a really weirdly shaped knife. But as a utility knife, yeah, I like it. I really think this is a great EDC. Uh, is it a good survival knife? No. No. Like, if the screw that's supposed to work doesn't work, the screw that's supposed to stay in fell out after 3 days, this is not something that you want to bet your life on. So this is not a good survival knife in the wilderness. It will probably let you down at the wrong time. Is it a good self-defense knife? Well, it's a karambit, or it kind of is a karambit. It doesn't have a quick draw feature, But I think if you know what you're doing with the karambit, this definitely would work really good as a self-defense, both as a knife or as a brass knuckle. Um, and it is not super big, but still big enough to be intimidating. And if you know what you're doing, you can open this really quick actually, and uh, it switches around in your hand very, very well, depending on what grip style you want. You want to do pistol, you want to do saber, you want to do karambit. It's all up to you, and you can get some really cool grip option on this knife. So as a self-defense knife, I think it's adequate. I don't think it's as good as most of the other actual karambit, but it's adequate. So I would say it's an okay uh, self-defense knife. It's a really nice EDC utility knife and sucks as a survival knife. Thank you for checking out today's video. I hope you guys had fun. I certainly did. And remember, knife safety whenever you are working with knives. Make sure there's no little children, household pets, other people around that may be hurt by whatever you are doing, and always take precaution to not injure yourself as well. Learn the proper cutting techniques and learn proper knife safety.